Don't you want it? 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 You lose your little mind.
Deadlights Pod.
Welcome to the Deadlights Podcast, Season 4.
4.
I'm your host, Sam.
And I'm your other host, Leslie. And we're bringing you yet another week of horror.
Another week of horror from Playground Social Studios, our new home for Season 4.
Mikasa Sukasa.
Mikasa Sukasa, welcome to our horror casa. We welcome you to another one here. And you're invited to come along with us on this review.
Wow.
We're waiting for people to get the invite.
Yeah, no, these invites are...
Takes about a week through the mail.
God.
Yeah.
Why didn't we just do email?
That's a
But
good point.
why do you keep saying invite?
It's probably because of the movie that we watched.
What did we watch?
We watched The Invitation from 2015, directed by Kayrn Kusama, written by Phil Hay and Matt Manfredi. A man accepts an invitation to a dinner party hosted by his ex-wife, an unsettling affair that reopens old wounds and creates new tensions.
No, duh.
No duh.
It's your ex-wife.
Yeah, it's your ex-wife, and you're also going back to the place where a lot of really bad things happen to you.
Icky.
We're going to open a lot of those wounds, and we're going to go through a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And I liked that we pulled this movie because it's definitely, I would say, a more quiet horror movie, slower paced, slow burn. Nothing supernatural happens. Nothing really scary happens. You just know something's wrong. Like, there's just this feeling that you get through this whole movie that something is off.
The atmosphere that we're in is like everybody is kind of slimy.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Enough for you to be like, is this like a whodunit? Like murder mystery type of thing? And I felt like that until like midway where all the creepy stuff started happening and you're just like, all right, no. This ain't supernatural or anything. This is culty shit.
Yeah.
Most scary.
Yeah. Some organized shit. And then it becomes a matter of who do you trust? Do you trust your friends that you're seeing for the first time after years of not seeing them? Do you trust yourself? Because you're going through some really tough stuff. And can you trust the things that you're seeing, the things that you're thinking about the people around you? That was, I think, a really smart thing about this movie was the whole time we don't know really who to trust. And up until the reveal in the last 20, 15 minutes, we still don't know who to trust. So you're asking those questions throughout this whole movie. I think they do a great job, like you said, setting that atmosphere of mistrust, paranoia. And we live in it for about 90 minutes.
Engaged.
On edge.
The whole time you're just like, as much as I want to drink this wine, I don't want to drink this wine.
Don't drink the wine.
Don't do it.
Don't drink the wine.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
No. Let's get into it, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's open up the can. We're talking about the filmmaking of this movie. I think that overall, this movie to me felt, I would say, very intimate. We're going into a situation where we are from the perspective of Will, our main character, who, like we said, is returning to what was at one point his house.
Maybe they're overcompensating. It's kind of hard to call everybody up out of the blue after 2 years.
Nobody's seen her?
I ran into her and David at a supermarket, and a little bit after that, I heard they disappeared.
We're in this very heavy space and this very personal space for Will. And how they're shooting it, these extreme close-ups, the kind of suspicious looks that people are giving him really make it feel like we are along the ride with Will and the experience that he's going through. And they do a great job, I think, of really setting us in his shoes. And we're seeing some of the trauma that's coming up.
Just gotta lather it up. 10 seconds at least.
It's not overstated. It's not this big flashback. It's more of just like a natural step in time that he goes back to a place. And I think that makes us care for him a lot. And him being a good actor too, the guy that played Will, really made us sympathize with him.
My son is dead. Where do I put that? It's like a scream trapped inside me.
I still can't believe the logic of someone going back to their house. That sounds so like, of course he was triggered,
Yeah.
you know, but also he was the only person that started piecing together the very weird things that were going on, but no one believed him because he kept spasming out every now and then.
They're in a cult.
No, stop. We're not in a cult.
I know plenty of people who do the invitation.
You do?
Yeah. Eden, you guys really in this?
We are?
It's really a science rather than like some weird religious cult or anything. You know, it's smart people like us. What happened to Eden and Will?
No, don't, David. Don't.
Finding this saved my life. I almost died after. I almost couldn't keep on living. You know that, Will. I'm not angry anymore. And if anyone is going to try to take that away from me,
It was an easy thing for them to blame it on. He's in his old house where his kid died. Of course he's.
And his ex-wife has moved on. She has a husband. They're married.
I think so.
And then he had a girlfriend. And as they were going to the party, they hit a deer. So then we are already coming in with like really weird vibes.
Yeah.
And
Just a bad omen to start the movie
yeah.
off. Just, oof, okay.
and everybody's known each other for freaking years.
These are old friends that haven't
Old
seen each
friends.
other in a while, and it's a large cast. You know, it's a big group of friends that, as the audience, you're thrust into this group, and it's like, oh my god, like we have a lot of people that we need to keep track of right now, and it is a little overwhelming at the start, like I assume it would be for Will too, coming into this situation.
Will, you remember David?
Of course, sure.
Will, I'm so glad you're here. I'm really glad, man.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, brilliant. I mean, we've got a lot to talk about. So much to celebrate tonight.
They met each other, I think they established in a grief group. And then they went to Mexico for another retreat, which then got them into this new agey, new wavy kind of way to deal with your trauma. And you can just let go of it.
Very religiously masked, but it was very much a cult.
Yes. And they do admit that in the middle of the movie.
This is our home in Sonora, Mexico, and it is your home too, if you choose it to be. My life's work has been to discover new ways to rewire, to rewrite our experiences with trauma. But trauma has visited all of us.
And I think that is kind of a smart play for the movie to do, which is they kind of up front say, oh, it's a cult. And then they're able to kind of explain it to where the friends and also us as the audience are like, I get kind of their point.
How do you feel?
I feel loved.
She's with all of us now. There's no darkness, just reunion. Annie is safe now.
Why would anyone want to watch that?
She just wanted to show everyone that there's nothing to be afraid of. That was the point.
The point is that it shouldn't be something that we fear. That's the whole point, is like you shouldn't be afraid of death, and it's a natural thing. And that's kind of how they pitch it. And as an audience member, I'm like,
Yeah.
that sounds pretty good.
I mean, you should at some point understand that it's inevitable. So there shouldn't be a lot of fear.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're human. We want to survive. So yeah, it's instinctual to want to survive.
Yeah.
And at some point, we're losing them. We're like, everybody is like getting into this idea of just being like, you know what? Yeah, you're right.
Look, I get it. If you gotta go at 30, it's not a bad way. Surrounded by people who love you.
On video? It's beautiful.
She looked at peace to me. I'm not judging her.
No, I know, babe.
I just don't understand why you'd show something like that at a dinner party, Dave.
You don't get it?
It's not about the fact that she died. We all die.
What's it about?
It's about communion.
Right. Like Eden said, she's just trying to show you that there's nothing to be afraid of.
And everybody at some point they were playing that game, I want.
You say what you want, and then you do it.
And then you do it. Like, what's holding you back?
Mm-hmm.
There's this game we used to play in Mexico at the end of group, and I think we should try it. We take turns, and everybody gets to say what they want. But the point is to be honest, all right? To admit your desires.
And so one of the characters was like, oh my God, I want Coke. I haven't done Coke in such a long time. I want it. And so conveniently, they had it.
There it is.
Even though no one else did Coke.
Yeah. It was an easy way for them to get everyone at ease, get everyone on their side.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong here. Everything is chill.
You know, it's really funny because there were some people when we showed the movie in its early stages who were good friends, but they were just like, you know, I mean, I just know for myself, I would leave. And I was just like, but would you? Would you leave? Like, isn't this part of polite society that you don't just sort of like get up and leave? Would you really just get up and leave? I mean, that's a statement. That's a social transgression. And so part of what the movie is kind of exploring is the downfall of too much politeness.
So there is this kind of like societal politeness that's holding everyone back from seeing the weirdness that's going on.
And especially because the hosts are, I mean, one of them is the ex-wife who lost a child.
And also attempted suicide.
Has she been acting like this all night?
Yeah. David, too. Look, I'm all for whatever you gotta do to get by. Especially you two, with what you went through. But you didn't lose your mind.
Does Eden seem off to you? And more often than not, the response is, well, she just went through a lot. So, of course, she's off.
Yeah, and they're like, you've changed too.
Yeah. They're using grief as an excuse to not do anything.
We have to make a better effort. That's on us. I was trying to give you space, and I don't know if that came across like I was checked out.
Oh, I understand that for sure.
For sure. It's uncomfortable. And it's kind of what they're doing in this dinner party is they're kind of stepping back from any responsibility to notice the weirdness going on. And they're just there because they think that's what they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're kind of dancing around it, but we should probably just get to the meat.
Yeah, let's get into
we're really talking about grief, specifically with Will and Eden. Everyone in their own way is dealing with their grief in this movie, but because we're in Will's perspective, that's the ones we're focusing on, and they're dealing with the death of their son.
They were just playing. They were just messing around. I shouldn't have let them have the bat.
What happened to your son wasn't anything that could be predicted.
Been waiting to die since the moment it happened.
How does grief affect people in different ways, and what is the response that you take to heal it? Is it healthy or is it not? And I think Will is still in a place of trying to figure out how to be okay. But Eden has found this way, has found this group that has somehow cured her.
You don't find it hard to be in this house again?
No, not at all. It doesn't have to be. That's what's so incredible. All that useless pain, it's gone. It's something anyone can have, Will. And I want you to have it too.
He can't understand how she could be okay, how she could get past these feelings of grief so fast. And I think he feels like it's a little bit of a betrayal to their son.
It's just, you don't think I know? I know.
Hey, let's get a drink.
It's just that easy for you.
Oh my God. Come on, let's get a drink.
The movie is smart because that's all compounding, that's all happening while he is noticing weird things, and we're trying to figure out if that's just his paranoia or if he's actually seeing weird things.
There's this gal that, what's her name? Sadie, that everyone doesn't know about.
Yeah.
And Eden and David brought her in from Mexico.
Hey.
She's kind of like a little stray cat. And
Yeah.
she is a 70s child. Like that's how they portray her.
How do you guys know each other?
Friends in common, I guess.
We met in Mexico. It's fun. We have fun.
That was our first introduction. She was like bottomless.
Yeah.
I processed that as like, oh, he is having some like hallucinations. And I didn't know, because like I'd never seen The Invitation and I didn't know about the movie. So I didn't know anything besides the logline. And then I forgot about it once we like saw it. So I thought it was going to be spooky. I was like, oh, it's supernatural. But no, we go a whole different direction. And it's more real.
I've had moments in my life where I've felt very vulnerable to just wanting an easy answer, wanting a system of thought that takes all the questions away and makes sort of my life really ordered. And I understand our desire for that kind of simplicity and our desire to be told what to do sometimes. Sometimes that's far preferable to having to like sort of blindly bat around in the dark, which is what a lot of us feel as human beings.
It also made me sad because it showcases how, some truth on how we all might not be as healed, or know much about mental health to be able to maneuver through a situation like that. I mean, it's incredible that all of these people showed up. The people that all went through the same trauma showed up and try to move forward. I think everybody, this was like, let's just have a clean slate and see how it goes. Let's be friends,
It's an interesting last thing that they kind of add into this movie, this like layer about this layer about grief, which is, can you judge somebody for how they choose to get past their pain?
Something isn't right here. There's something very strange going on here, and no one is saying anything. Don't tell me that this is normal. The Invitation.
It helps people.
Well, everybody's allowed to.
No, it's a fucking cult, Miguel! It's a fucking cult!
It's not about communion, it's not about family, it's about fucking denial.
You are out of line.
All right, no, it's about denial, or you know what it is? It's a fucking brainwash.
I'm sorry, Pete.
I know it's hard, Will. But you can't criticize us for finding our own way through this. I've never done that to you.
And so that's a moment where I think he realizes that he can't judge Eden for getting past the grief in her own way. And whether it's through whatever she needs to figure out, it's okay if she did move on for him. And that he like has a moment to apologize, I think, in that moment, to be like, I'm sorry. I didn't want to judge you. So there is that question of like, can we judge people for how they deal with their trauma?
As long as you're not causing more harm to others and yourself.
Yes, because
it's
then
pretty okay, you know?
Yes, because then after that moment, we do realize it's a suicide cult and they're going to kill all these people to be ascended to wherever that place. That's not a good way to deal with it. But
I'll
it
be
is
so pissed if I go to a party and they're trying to kill me.
This key party really turned.
We were just swapping partners.
In the end, we're really left with everyone being consumed with grief, with the suicide cult, and the waves of grief go on and on and on. And that last shot of the movie, we reveal that it's not just this house that is suicide culting. It is like every house in the neighborhood.
It is
going down.
A wave, a trend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A wave of grief that just sweeps through the hills of Hollywood.
It's like Nosferatu's hand.
I'm coming for you.
Save me.
Let's get to the cook.
Yeah, let's cook it up.
Flip it, reverse it. And like I said at the beginning, we're talking about a very slow burn type movie. The first time watching this movie, it is kind of overwhelming. We have a large cast of people. Not much information is revealed, which I do like about it because that does feel more natural. But you're doing a lot of work to try to figure out who these people are and the relationships with each other, what happened to them in the past.
Can you trust them?
Can you trust them?
You
Who
know?
are these new people? What's real? What's not real? So really this movie is this kind of, trudge through trying to figure out what's going on. And I think it kind of works in that way. It makes an interesting first watch because you're learning the truth. And then the second watch is even more interesting because you're allowed to have those questions along the whole time. Where it gets to. You can see the clues that they're putting in there. And still you're asking yourself, what is real? There's a couple times in there where I'm still like,
Was that real?
yeah. Did that actually happen or was that just in Will's head?
It's pretty interesting because I think it is. I think it is real.
It all happened.
There was a scene where you were like, I don't think this is real.
That one by the pool.
Yeah.
You could fuck me right here.
What?
Why should we deny ourselves over?
And how they edited it was just like a straight cut from that scene to him standing outside again, but by himself. So it was just like this, did that happen? Was that in his head?
Yeah, because he's definitely dissociating. So with very heavy dissociation, you get time lapse. You get low blackouts or full blackouts where it's like several freaking days. And you have no idea what's going on. So there could have been a moment in where he was standing, like that happened, sent him off to this blackout. And who knows how long he was standing by the pool by himself at that moment.
Yeah.
But it could not have happened too.
Right. Those moments make you question it. And because they're also very naturally weaving in these flashbacks, it makes you question every scene of like, oh, is this a memory? Is this a hallucination? When is this happening? It really does disorient you in that way. But I really do love the idea of him walking around the house and being triggered by these different parts.
Oh, you love that?
I love it. No, it's just, I think, a very realistic way to convey how someone would feel walking through their old house.
It really is an imagery of being woven in. And it makes those moments very tender. And it's like, fuck, like, I couldn't imagine losing a fucking child. Are you kidding me? How do you move on? How the fuck do you move on?
And in the end, yes, we have this suicide cult that's Eden's reaction of how to move on. Of let's kill all of our friends together and ascend to wherever.
I miss him. I miss him so much.
Like I said before, the movie is asking, can you judge someone for how they try to deal with their pain? And in some way is also asking, could we see ourselves get to Eden's place? Like, I have no idea what my reaction would be to losing a child. Could I get there? Could I? I don't know. I hope not.
I hope you don't send me an invitation.
Look for your invitation.
I'm not going.
I'm in all white in a flowy dress. Oh, Leslie.
Hello, friends.
Thanks for coming.
So happy for you to be here.
Have some wine.
Hell no.
But yeah, it is this like interesting. They do build some sympathy for the villains.
That's the reason I needed to do this movie. Is I felt tremendous empathy for the antagonists. There were many periods at which I asked myself, are they the antagonists? I still really do believe that there's something to those antagonists that make them very human, and that I feel like, okay, I think they've just lost their way, and I'm just, who's to say that won't be me someday? No character felt entirely readable and entirely sort of like monolithically bad.
I wasn't trying to sympathize with their actions at all.
No, absolutely not.
No, but the movie does somewhat put you in the position to ask yourself of like, well, what would my reaction to grief be? Just in general. And I think that we're seeing a lot of different reactions, and we're in a horror movie, so we're seeing the most extreme of reactions. And it's scary when it gets there. It's scary how grief can consume someone and make them so blinded to everything else except them getting over their pain.
But like, they didn't even ask them.
No.
They didn't ask them. They chose for them their end. Because that one girl, she tried leaving and they didn't let her.
Dude,
they killed her.
Definitely. She gone.
She gone.
She definitely gone.
Did they show us that she
drove off, and then Pruitt, the other cult member, was like, hey, stop real quick. I got to ask you. And then we don't see it.
We don't see it, but we know.
Come on. She's got to ascend.
I like that. I like that they left that a mystery, because I couldn't remember if they showed us that scene or not.
They didn't show us that, and then they never confirmed it. We didn't see like her body ever, but it's enough. This movie was a slow burn, and then once the truth was revealed that this is a suicide cult, which is like the last 15 minutes, it was like boom, boom, boom. Everyone's gone. We're killing people off. We're killing the villains too.
It reminded me of a Audition.
Yes.
Where like all of the awful stuff happens.
We're waiting, and all of our worst suspicions do come true. No! Yeah. It's very satisfying in that way. What I will say is like these villains, first of all, have the largest windows I've ever seen, and then have no regard of doing suspicious shit in these windows. Like Will, I counted like 3 separate occasions he's outside, and like Eden or David are like doing some really suspicious shit, just in a big window, just doesn't even care. So,
windows for walls.
They're, I guess, not too concerned about Will seeing it.
No, I mean, they have those big windows for a reason, right?
Yeah.
In their bedroom, right?
Okay, Eden and David.
Over the hills of California.
Hey, whatever you got to do to get over it. Oh, let's get to the thrill. It's interesting. This isn't exactly a horror movie because there's really nothing supernatural going on. Definitely thriller. Yeah. There was this unsettling atmosphere that we already talked about, combined with the music and this slowness that they have going on, it just set a mood, and that mood was tense.
It was. I wanted to get the hell out of there.
Me too.
Yeah.
Very trapping.
It reminded me, that tension reminded me of Climax. Remember Climax? I saw that again not too long ago. And for sure.
And
it wasn't as intense as the first time. Also, I think we were super high.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Edit that out.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what I was in for the first time we watched that movie. And it's,
so the second one, like, I saw it and I was able to like be in it and see more of it. But that's the thing about these like very intense movies, is that like, because I'm also like trying to get the hell out of there, sometimes I miss details.
Yeah.
Because my heart's pumping, I'm fucking sweating. And I'm just like, I feel like I'm drowning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's working. And in both those cases, both those movies, the music is really important to drive home the suspense. And this movie's music was really good. It was like heavy plucking of strings at points, like donk.
I feel like, yeah.
And then it was this like very slow string. So yeah, it was just, again, adding to this eerie, bad feeling of this place and of this dinner.
I like a how am I trying to phrase this? Because I love the plucking of the cello and stuff, the violin, but it's overused right now. I need them to tone it down so it can have an effect again. Because like right now I'm just like, okay, now I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a little...
2015 Invitation.
Oh, that was 2015?
Yeah. 10 years ago.
Oh.
Wow. 10-year anniversary of the Invitation.
That made me feel old.
Coming at you. That was before the overuse of the plucking, I would say. They were right at the beginning of it.
At the beginning.
Yeah. So good on that. Their plucking was good.
Their plucking was good.
Good pluck. That was one good pluck. Yeah, and well acted too. I don't think we really mentioned that in the can, but this is a movie that is heavily dependent on looks and what's not said,
caricatures of people,
and subtext, massive subtext. And a lot of things are on unsaid, but because we have good actors that understand the emotional arcs that these characters are going through, we as the audience understand what they're going through too.
Yeah, why is everyone acting so fucking polite? Our son died, Edie, and you're trying to ignore it. It meant something when he died, and don't you try to erase that. Ty was real.
I really enjoyed Will's performance. I think he did a great job he was a downer for sure in the whole movie, but rightfully so.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you not be? But he was still you sympathized with him the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, it is good to have a character amongst the very over the top ones that is like soft.
Yeah.
So then there's a balance, and his softness also came with like his trauma. So we had moments in where like he broke and became more intense.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude.
It makes sense, Dad.
Oh my goodness.
Let's get to the final ride.
Yeah.
Pull in. Nice. I actually wrote down something that I thought described the ride for myself. I don't know why. I never really do this, but
no.
Here
I want to hear it.
I said, it's like looking into a dark basement, waiting for your eyes to adjust, slowly having to get closer to the darkness to bring it into view. And then as soon as you see it, it jumps out to bite you.
Damn.
Dang. Sorry.
That's poetic.
Thanks.
Yeah, no. Grief is such a tremendous emotion. Very important. But God, it hurts.
Yeah.
Ouch. Ouchie.
And hurts people in different ways. And something that we talked about a lot in this podcast is obviously trauma and the waves of trauma. This is a movie about those waves really rippling outward and affecting not only the person that went through the trauma, but everybody else. Like you said, without their knowledge or choice in the matter, affected them. It's scary. It's really scary. And they do a really, really good job, I think, of conveying those emotions and keeping it tense.
Yeah,
I think
agreed.
my main thing about this movie is it is a lot of people. It is a massive cast. And though it doesn't like necessarily detract from the story, I just wonder if we needed that many people there.
Yeah.
I understand that they're there to, continue to gaslight Will into thinking that everything's fine. But did we need that many? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because I think there are some scenes that kind of dragged on. You started realizing like, oh, Will's going to go through all his friends.
Yeah.
And give him like a spiel of like advice or whatever.
Don't you guys think this is a little bit weird?
Look, well, there was no way that tonight wasn't going to feel a little strange. Or sad.
Cast was huge. It was Will and Kira, David, Eden, Gina, Ben, Sadie, Pruitt, Tommy, Miguel, Claire, and then Choi came in
12
later. It's a pretty big cast. It's a lot to keep track of.
I didn't count. I just said a number.
You just threw out a number. Is that
12.
12? Roundabouts.
Sounds like it was 12.
Baker's dozen. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, it didn't necessarily detract from the actual story that they were telling, but it was just like a kind of overwhelming.
Yeah, it felt a little long to me because of how many characters we had.
Yeah.
And they all had to say something. We gave them a character.
Yeah. What I will say, what it did allow is for Will to kind of go off into the house, and because there were so many people there, it didn't seem as weird that he would be gone
in his previous home.
Right.
Oh, that's still so weird to me.
That is yikes. That is yikes.
Yeah, I can see how there could be people that could be stronger and go to their previous house.
Tough one.
Yeah.
I would answer The Invitation. From 2015.
Hell yeah. All right.
All right, let's get to these ratings.
All right.
We'll do our custom log lines. We'll give our Smash Pumpkin ratings. And then, of course, the new edition of this season, the Creepy Kitty Award. All right, Leslie, how about you start us off?
All righty. No, I don't want to come on over. No, I don't want to drink that drink. And no, I don't want to watch that video. Y'all are freaky freaks. No, I don't want to join your cult. Get that wine away from me. Y'all are weird as fuck.
Mic drop.
Mic drop.
All right, nice.
No, I don't want to join your suicide freaking cult.
Hell no. What rating?
I give it a 3.
3.
I was gonna give it 3.5, but I don't know. Something about just how it was told didn't really quite reel me in. I like the thematics of it, but
yeah.
And the Kitty Award goes to all the cult shit.
All that cult shit.
I'm so afraid of cults.
This really drew on that cult fear.
Oh yeah, because anybody can join if you're susceptible to needing to fit in.
Yep. Oof.
Oof.
And that's that real life shit. We're not, like we said, no supernatural in this one. We're getting that real life.
The real life shit.
Scary.
Creepy.
Yeah, it's a good one.
All
Definitely
right.
a good one.
How about you?
All right, here's my log line. Grief comes in waves, especially when you're returning to the place your son died and your ex is seemingly fine, cured, delusional, dangerous. Will can't seem to figure it out, and his friends are no help. Cheers to another successful suicide cult. I give it a 4.6.
Ooh.
Going a little higher with this one. My main complaint was the size of the cast, but for me, I felt like it really worked well in the slow pace of it. Mm-hmm. And I really enjoyed how they were playing with time, how they were playing with truth, what's reality. So for me, it's one of those like watchable movies where I would watch it again to kind of like pick out those details. So it was a fun rewatch. I do like The Invitation. And to me, the Creepiest Kitty Award goes to The Last Shot. It's just the last shot of all the houses on the hills.
That's a good one.
Dying.
Mhm.
They're going down because of these waves of grief that are falling out from everywhere. And it's just a dreadful feeling. It's really a dreadful and hopeless ending to this movie. And grief can feel like that sometimes.
Yeah.
So it really leaves quite a taste in the mouth at the end.
It also mentions that you're not the only one that's going through this. You know?
Definitely not. Oh.
Oh.
The Invitation.
Invitation.
Woo.
Wow.
Heavy. All
Heavy,
right.
heavy.
Let's put that Invitation to bed.
Just toss it
Done.
behind us.
Wow, another one bites the dust.
Oh boy, yes it does.
Well, thank you again for tuning in to another review of the Deadlights Pod. You can follow us at the Deadlights Podcast and also check out Playground Social, which is a studio that we were filming this from.
Right here, right now. And you can follow me on Instagram at ColorMeLeslie.
And me at Beep Beep Richie T. But until next time, let's get spooky. Ooh. That's how this movie leaves you. Just,
Silent. Don't invite me.
I'm sad.